Many people are aware that McDonald's is not the healthiest restaurant to eat out there. But what most of you don't know is that in one sandwich, the McRib, there are over 70 ingredients. That may not be too much, but for the restaurant boasting that the McRib is just a pork patty, a bun, barbecue sauce, pickle slices, and slivered onions, it leads to question where are the other 70 ingredients coming from. There are 34 ingredients alone in just the bun. Some of these ingredients include ammonium sulfate, which is a kind of salt commonly found in soil fertilizers. There is also azodicarbonate. And that's in the bun, so it leaves you to wonder what's left in the sandwich itself. According to the dispatch from Maxim, there is very little actual rib meat in a McRib. The director of McDonald's tried to say that it's primarily shoulder meat, but we all know that he's just trying to sell the product, and so it's more than likely a lie. And the University of Nebraska did a study that backed up the fact that the director of McDonald's was lying. Their study proved that you're really eating reconstructed pig innards coated in salt, and that's specifically tripe, which is the stomach lining of the pig, the heart, and scalded stomachs.
Kobe beef is illegal in the US, Australia, and the UK. What is advertised as Kobe beef isn't real Kobe beef, unless they illegally smuggled the beef from Japan. So what is the Kobe beef we are eating? The actual term Kobe beef can legally label anything that is considered the description of beef. That means that any Kobe beef you purchase in this illegal country probably isn't up to the standard of the $70 to $80 price. Unless you are consciously substituting something like tofu for ham or turkey, usually meat is meat. Yes, that slab of steak that you picked up from the sketchy butcher around the corner is still real steak. According to Cracked.com, it's quite likely half a dozen steaks. There's a substance used in the meat industry called transglutamase, known as meat glue. It is exactly what you think it is. It is supposed to be used by fancy chefs to stick different parts of a meal together, like to make crab cakes or sushi, but the meat producing industry has adopted it too. When processing animals into food, there are often lots of little pieces of meat that are no good. So your steak could be from 12 different cows. And transglutamase isn't among the substances required to be mentioned in the table of ingredients, you have a fat chance of knowing it's there.
Many of us like to go to the store and pick out the most beautiful cut of meat. We like how it's nice and red and juicy because it makes us think it's going to be just as juicy after it's cooked. But what most of us don't think about is what the meat looks like before it's cut and packaged and put on the counter. Here is a picture of a slab of meat at the butcher's, and it has a tumor in it. You can ask any butcher, this is very common to see. Some of them aren't quite as bad as this particular picture, but it's still a thing that is involved in the butchering industry. Although the tumors are very common, it does not mean that the meat is unsaleable. What they do is they cut the tumor out first, they'll cut it all away, and then if there's anything left over or if the tumor popped, there's pus on the inside, and that is what may be left behind. They don't just leave it there, they do wash it away with a lot of bleach, and they cleanse the entire piece of meat before it's actually sold to you. I don't know about you though, but if I saw this piece of meat with this nasty stuff coming out of it, I don't care what you cleaned it with or how many times you washed it, I would not want to eat it, or let alone know what it could do to my body.
The food industry affects several different groups in distinctive ways, such as the farmers, environment, employees, kids, medical practice, and taxpayers. This is definitely an issue for the farmers because they're not getting benefited by this. Farmers are getting very little business because manufacturers are buying imported food instead of the food that they're raising.
Majority of meats from farmers are not being used. Taxpayers are tired of paying subsidies to farmers while surplus food sits in subsidized storage facilities.
Odor, dust, and toxins from the farming equipment are gone. Now that we are getting illegitimate sources for meat, our environment no longer has to suffer as much. This is beneficial for our environment and ourselves.
Fast food is luring us in by its great prices, taste, and speed, but they take advantage of that through advertising towards kids. This can lead to obesity or health risks. The kids who have $1 in their pocket are going to want to go to fast food places versus going somewhere healthier. Healthier eating is more expensive.
Every processing plant has someone from the Department of Agriculture, but the companies do testing for bacteria, and they don't have to report those results to the USDA who are in their plants. If USDA wants to review the records, they can, but the company, they can't sell a product that has live bacteria. They can cook that meat and sell it in another product.
On her 9th birthday in 2006, Riley Gutserson ate a spinach salad and was infected with a dangerous strain of E. coli. She spent 30 days in the hospital on dialysis. To this day, she has a damaged heart, kidney, and vocal cords as a result of the poisoning. Every year, there are 75 million cases of foodborne illnesses.
Many believe that corporate America and the medical industry work together to gain business. From the 75 million cases of foodborne illnesses, 325,000 hospitalizations are made every year. From a medical practice standpoint, this creates and sustains jobs.
The biggest challenge facing mankind today is how to feed 10 million people. With fast food restaurants like McDonald's and others, it is very easy for a person to get a meal. With things like the dollar menu, someone can get a cheeseburger for $1. This is benefiting the part of society that can't afford the groceries to make a full meal.
Fast food chains open all around the world. There are more than 500,000 fast food restaurants out there. Can you imagine how many jobs these chains are providing? Jobs can be obtained working in the factories, as a cook, cashier manager, corporate, and many more.
This is an ethical issue. Ethical issues are tricky because they do have positive outcomes, but in an amoral way. As you have seen, not all of the effects given to us from fast food are bad, but they are placed on us in an immoral way. Just because they're doing good doesn't mean they achieved it in an ethical manner. That is what makes an ethical issue, when it is hard to choose whether or not to do it because there are so many points of view.